Hello everyone. It has been a while that I made a video, and actually there were a couple of really interesting placements. For instance, on the 8th of January, the cardinal karmic cage with the nodal axis right at 0 degrees something in Libra and Aries, and Mercury just moving into Capricorn. But I didn't have the time. I made it in Hungarian. So if you know Magyar, or if you are interested in just the placements, you can actually go there and scroll through it and see the charts. But at the moment, the nodes are ready to move into Pisces and Virgo, and this is a biggie. And so is the next full moon, which is actually a day later. If we look at the English version, well, actually the nodal axis changes signs on the 11th of January at 23 something, so it's at 11:24 p.m., something like that. And then the next day will be the Cancer full moon, which is really, really fascinating. So we are going to look at it as well, I promise. But let's see the nodal axis changes. And for this, I created a drawing for you who don't actually know, but I presume you all know what the nodes are, but just for you to visualize it. So here's the Earth's orbit around the sun in blue, and here's the moon's orbit around the Earth. And the sun's and the moon's orbit are actually the ecliptic and the moon's path are crossing twice a day, and those are diagonally opposed. So there's always an opposition between the South and the North Node, so this is it. This is a space-time moment for London, which is on January 11th at 23:03. Sorry, I thought it was earlier, but anyhow, so that's what it is. So as you can see, the sun has not crossed the IC yet. So it means that it's still the 11th. For instance, in Hungary, it's right after midnight on the 12th. And of course, if you go further to the west, it will still be the 11th. And if you go to the east, it will be the 12th. So if you have any astrological calendars, this is what makes it a difference, because sometimes what you see here is that Libra is rising with the nodes just behind the ascendant and the descendant. You can see that it's Pisces and Virgo, 29 degrees, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. And Mercury is on the IC. So actually in our roots, we have Mercury understanding what's happening. And this will be very important. So this will be a key factor in the upcoming 1.5 years while the nodes are in these signs. Let's take a look at what these actually are. In your own natal chart, the South Node describes your karmic experiences. It is your tool how you can actually act when you are threatened or cornered, where you feel that someone wants to overpower you or wants to attack you. This is your natural survival kit, what you bring in from past incarnations, and you are utilizing it in a very instinctual manner. And it only works really when you are threatened, or when you actually think you are threatened, because that's what it is. It's your survival instinct, so to speak. And it's based upon your karmic experiences. And the North Node is your chosen destiny. Now, these 2 points are always opposite each other. And it means that you need to travel from the South Node and actually go towards your North Node, but it doesn't occur too early or too well, simply because the South Node is such a strong instinctual behavior pattern that you have no idea, and you don't really wish to leave it behind. So actually, for most people, it's the second half of their life, or sometimes even the third trimester of their life, when they actually move towards the North Node, when they get bored about the South Node, when they realize that it is not decent, not very nice, not very smart, not very elegant to use those behavior patterns. But it takes a while, and you never actually get rid of the South Node. So it will always be some sort of instinctual behavior pattern. Okay, what signifies Virgo South Node? Well, first of all, what we have learned in previous incarnations, and also if I can quote Douglas Murray, he always asks the question, how is it that we have forgotten things that we already knew? And this is practically what the South Node in Virgo means. Normal practical things, practical behavior, we can go back to normalcy, finally, after this woke idiocy that has been really swept across the globe, only in the Western countries, of course. We are getting rid of this. It's so funny. It was really funny to see how when Mars moved back into Cancer, which was on the 6th, and next day, Justin Trudeau, the big woke icon, resigned. And this was a brilliant moment because finally, after 9 miserable years, when he practically ruined the country, he finally realized, and he's an idiot. I'm really sorry. I mean, and the other idiot, Macron, who is not really an idiot. He's also woke and also a globalist, but he's actually quite smart. So he's even more dangerous because Trudeau is stupid. She pride and slip. He's an idiot, really. And so that was actually it was quite fascinating how when Mars is in Cancer, then you are willing to fight for your home, your homeland, for your family, for your loved ones, for anything that is dear to you emotionally. And that's exactly what's happening. All of a sudden, just a couple of days ago, Meta, Facebook, announced that they will stop fact checking finally after a couple of years of really horrible fact checking, which was always biased because it was always leaning towards the communistic ideas, and anything patriotic and anything natural was kind of trashed there. So finally we are getting back to normalcy, and this is signified by the South Node in Virgo, which actually gives us the potential to put things in order, to adopt practical, industrious, and pragmatic behavior patterns, and also how to understand and interpret the reality around us, 3D reality. So that's what we already knew, and now we can tap into that knowledge and bring it into our lives. This is going to be possible for the next 1.5 years. And the North Node in Pisces will be our chosen behavior pattern, which we can adopt, which we can learn about. And of course, this describes all kinds of sensitive and deeply emotional behavior patterns, also to develop clairvoyance or clairaudience. It allows us to make sacrifices, smaller or larger, depending on what we actually can sacrifice, but it is a willingness to give without actually hoping to get back. So it's like giving for giving. It's a very beautiful and very noble idea. And of course, experiencing oneness in 3D, which is a brilliant and harmonious energy pattern if we can actually make it happen. So these are what we can concentrate on for the next 1.5 years. There is an energetic Earth Water Kite in this particular chart in London, which is created by the nodal axis, Neptune, which is now ruling the North Node, and actually it's a doubly applying conjunction. Australia, which is at the moment at the very end of Scorpio and ready to move into Sagittarius. And of course, Mars, which has moved into retrograded back into Cancer just a mere 3 days ago, 4 days ago, something like that. So that is creating an Earth kite, the basis of which is the water ground trine involving Mars, the North Node Neptune conjunction, and Freya. And this means a water trine is something like you can actually utilize harmonious emotions or empathy. And when you have 3 water trines creating a ground trine, it's like triple energy. But actually, the problem with trines is that they don't have enough energy. They don't have the drive. They can't really manifest sometimes. But when you have a kite, meaning that somewhere to a corner there's an opposition. In this case, it's the South Node in Virgo, and provides you with the energy, the element that is harmoniously supporting the ground trine. That is when it starts to move. So that is why a kite is much more efficient than a ground trine, and much more you are much more able to utilize it. Let's take a look at the transcendental celestial objects, which are quite fascinating. First of all, if you can see the color coding, in this case, Mars doesn't have anything, but the rest have an asteroid, a centaur, and a fixed star. Asteroids describe the personal karmic level. Centaurs or TNOs or SDOs, or those trans-Neptunians, describe karmic wounds, and karmic wounds can develop into 2 ways. They can actually form phobias and all kinds of threatening issues, but also special traits and ingenious. And then those are blue, by the way. And then the red ones are the fixed stars or galactic points, and those are higher dimensional worlds where we can actually learn stuff or heal difficult issues that we have dealt with in previous incarnations. You have those 3 levels. On the North Node, Neptune, you have ambrosia, which is the food of the gods. And actually, it describes the ability to live very frugally out of almost nothing, and at the same time, very happy and gracious about what you have. That's ambrosia. So if you can make it happen. On Boras CC, which is one of these so-called tyrant centaurs. So the karmic wound is around possessiveness, tyranny, the negative ways of rulership. And Stern, which is Beta Pegasus, is the primal healing word for suicide victims. On Astrea, you have Sophia, the goddess of wisdom. Teto, which is a centaur, which is a TNO describing toxic emotions. And Toliman, which is the main healing word of Chiron and karmic wounds. It is a southern constellation, centaur, and Toliman is the alpha star of it. And the most interesting celestial objects are on the South Node. First of all, the supergalactic center, which is one of the key celestial areas in karmic astrology. And it describes the karmic issue or karmic dilemma of nothing is ever enough. Kagara, which is a TNO, it's an African tribal god or tribal deity who is trying to get back his wife by actually using the forces of nature, especially hail and wind and the tempest, and finally he manages it. So it's how you can utilize the forces of nature. And Cyrus, which is a very interesting asteroid, who was Cyrus the Great. He was the founder of the Persian Empire, and he liberated the slaves of Babylon in 539 BC. Think about it. This happened 2,500 years ago. And this is a clay cylinder where his decrees on human rights are actually inscribed. And this is fascinating. Cyrus had rules like, yes, everyone should be equal. No one should kill the other person. And slavery is horrible. Torture is horrible and completely forbidden. So he was a very enlightened ruler, and actually greatly admired by his peers, and also later. For instance, Alexander the Great greatly admired Cyrus. And as I said, this is on the South Node, which is in Virgo. We just moved into Virgo, conjunct Cyrus. And Cyrus is a true figure, not the idiots who want equity and who always find these liberal idiots who always find a new a set of people who are victimized, and then we elevate them and we push the others down. No, that has been the issue in the last couple of 10 years, 15 years. And the fact that the South Node moves back into Virgo conjunct Cyrus gives me the hope that maybe we can go back to normalcy. We can go back that, yes, we are created equal. Equality doesn't mean that we are equal in any sense. I have brown hair. You might have blonde hair or red or dark, much darker than mine. Your eyes might be blue. Mine are something between auburn and yellow sometimes. When I'm thick, I have yellow eyes. And although nowadays it's quite interesting, when I teach, my eyes turn to blue. So that's my older granddaughter notices. Whenever I talk to her, all of a sudden my eyes kind of flash in blue. Anyhow, so we are not equal, but we are created equal. And you can understand this when you understand that the universe was created by the creator. And I don't care how you call it Allah or God or Yahweh or the goddess, but it was created by a divine being. And we are the children of this divine being. And yes, we are created equal, but we have separate destinies and we have separate problems and very separate issues and abilities. And that is why equity will never, ever work. Because the moment you want equality or equity, everything is falling apart. Nobody will do anything. Believe me, I lived through communism half my life. I know what it is. It doesn't work and will never work. And those who say, oh, yes, but yeah, but we tried it a couple of times, but not the real version. There's no real version. The real version is if you can only give someone something when you take it from someone else. That's what you and if you are doing it and you are taking it from the more able people and give it to those who won't actually appreciate it and squander it, then you create disaster. Believe me. And the Virgo Pisces dichotomy describes this with Cyrus on the South Node in Virgo, because there is equity, yes, in a way that we are created equal. And that's the true equity. And that's what we should actually learn and adopt. And at the same time, with the North Node in Pisces, to me, that means that we need to go back to the transcendent. We need to find the transcendent in our life. And we have 1.5 years for that. So let's go and do it. And here's the tomb of Cyrus the Great. It's quite a beautiful building. It's a six-step pyramid with the little thing on top. It's quite beautiful, I think. Okay, so that's what it is. That is the nodal axis turning into a different sign. We will have this. So these energy patterns are kind of heralding what this short era will be. There will be a number of other changes this year. Most of the outer planets have already changed signs or will be changing briefly and then going back to the previous sign. And then finally, by 2026, they are going to be the big change, the big harbingers of change. But with this particular change, we can actually go back, tap into the normalcy we forgot, and at the same time can actually learn how to give freely and with grace without actually hoping to get anything. This is it. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.